The spinal cord is the highway for communication between the body and the brain. When the spinal cord is damaged, the exchange of information between the brain and other parts of the body is disrupted, often resulting in paralysis. There are currently new forms of technology being tested out which involve fitting a complex system of wires and implants that are connected to nerve endings inside the human body. The aim is to give some form of movement to people who are paralyzed. 36-year-old Lou from Cleveland, Ohio, suffers from paralysis in both his legs and arms. Lou's paralysis occurred as a result of a devastating car accident. A few months ago, being able to feed himself was just a dream.
They told me I would be lucky if I ever shrugged my shoulders again. I was willing to do anything to try to bring myself back to life.
His dream had been turned into reality by Dr. Hunter Peckham at the Functional Electronic Stimulation Center in Cleveland.
He had a cervical level injury at the C6 level, and as a result of that, he lost the ability to move the muscles below his elbows. So what he can do is he can move his arms, both arms, he can move his elbows, but he can't do any grasping function.
Here they develop technology and apply it to people with disabilities to restore function lost as a result of paralysis.
The concept of using electronics for restoring function in the body has become quite a widespread and acceptable technique.
They asked me to set a goal before they did the operation, and I chose to go with more electrodes into the top of my hand, the intrinsics in my hands, so that I could do the finer things.
The surgery involves first placing an implant into the chest area.
It's powered by a radio signal, so for the person to actually turn it on and make it work, on the outside of their body they place a coil, and radio signals transmit the power and the control information to the implant.
From the implant, wires are run down to a set of electrodes. These stimulate the muscles. To provide hand function, the surgeons then need to locate and stimulate the 10 muscles that control the hand. One muscle operates the thumb, whilst the other muscle controls the finger movement. All of these need to be coordinated to give Lou a strong grasping function.
So our job, if you will, becomes reduced down to putting the electrodes on those nerves and activating them in a way that, that resembles the normal voluntary activation of the muscles.
Lou can now operate the device in two ways. The first is by hitting a button on his wheelchair. The second and newest way is to simply shrug his shoulder. Each shrug calls up a new grasp in a pre-programmed sequence. He simply runs through the sequence until he finds the one he wants.
I need lifting up, obviously, liquids or a bottle. I want to make sure I can lock on it.
And then, after 2 seconds, the grasp will automatically lock into place to enable him to pick up things.
This grasp here is for picking up a mug, a pen, a fork, pinching it in between my thumb, finger. It'll lock after I hold it for 2 seconds. And then that goes into my palm grasp again. That's my locking position to pick up a can, bottle of water, heavy objects. And then this next one, my fingers won't move, my thumb will move up to give me a totally different grasp. And I use that more when I'm going to pick things up off of a flat surface. When I come in here, I go home totally mentally drained, trying to tell a computer to tell my hand what to do instead of my brain just doing it automatically.
As Lou exercises and some muscles become stronger than others, the amount of stimulation sent through his wires needs to be altered.
If we want to adjust any one of those electrodes, we can do it by simply bringing the graph up or down at whatever point along the graph we want. So if we want more thumb extension at the beginning, then we just raise the thumb extensor up or lower it back down. When I turn the stimulation on, if his thumb is not positioning quite how he wants it to be able to pick up a cup or a can, then we can go to that individual electrode, adjust the parameters for that electrode so we get a little bit better coordination for what we want.
Watching your hand come back to life and being able to pick up and drink your own cup of coffee out of a ceramic mug, something that I took for granted every single morning. It's just amazing.
By combining physiotherapy, counseling and technology, they are providing an effective and liberating life treatment, but it's not a cure.
Within this next year, we're planning to do his other hand. Second-handed function then will enable him to do things bilaterally. Hold a jar, open the top. That would be the type of objective.
I feel like I'm on my way back almost to being half of a man.